everyone, it's Bobby at the Paper Jungle. I am back with another project for the design team of Country Craft Creations. Now this paper I've used is called Once Upon a Book, and it's an exclusive collection designed by Country Craft Creations. It is so pretty. It's all about books, and I'm an avid reader. I read some of every day. My favorite are Amish stories, which most people know. I've said that several times. And here is your spine, and there is the back. And that paper just gorgeous. And I used a ribbon from my stash. And I should say this is somewhat completed. The album itself is completed, but I still have lots of my book list to retype. I have this ancient 14-page list of all books that I have read over the years, and I've been retyping some of it. I don't have all of it done, but I list the author, the series, the title of each book, the volume, and whether I have the book, as all the X's, and then the dates over here are when I finished reading the book. And I always put the date inside the front cover of each of my books. So some of them I didn't have the dates recorded, so when I get moved and get to unpack all my books, then I'll finish adding in the dates of these. So on the inside of my cover, let me get a piece of cardstock here. Well, this should work. Let me cut it off a little bit so it's not so long. Okay, I just need something to show you the tuck spots. On the inside cover, this is a little tuck spot here. And then I used one of the cut aparts and just backed it on some Artisan Gray. I used the gray to wrap, the dark gray to wrap my album cover. And I have one magnet here and one on inside the back cover. And it opens this way, and this is also a tuck spot here. Opens like this, and I have a little pocket, which I don't have anything in yet. It'll hold one of my smaller list, and then I have some little cut aparts. This was with the collection, as well as this property of the National Library, it says. And I just put those in that little tuck spot, and then I stamped out some glasses from a stamp set that I've got, and I put that in there. And then I have a stamp and die set that makes this bookshelf with a little flower pot, and I put it on some acetate so I can put a list behind it. And I just thought that was so pretty. And I did the same thing on the inside of the back cover. And here is page 1. And I have a list in each one, and I cut these out from the design paper and backed it on the dark gray Artisan and used that for my pocket. And then I used the B side of the papers, which was more muted, but it looked like a newspaper print, and I used that for my background. And then this is the Artisan, and I have it listed in my on my cut list, all my colors that I used. This is my colors, as well as this pink is. And then on page 2, I have a double pocket here. This is glued down. I put the library card from her collection, and then I used those dies and stamps again to cut out a pair of glasses and a coffee cup. And this is one of her cut aparts. And as well as this one, and this one, another library card. It's got really pretty cut aparts in this one. And here is page 2. Is one of the little girls. And here's another book list. I've got tons of book lists left to type out, but I wanted to go ahead and show it to you because I posted a couple of sneak peeks of this as I worked on the project, and so many people expressed an interest in it. I wanted to go ahead and share it, so that if you're one of those people that had an interest in it, you can go ahead and see what I did. And this is a tiered pocket. This is a die that I have in my stash. It's 1, 2, 3 pockets. I have nothing in it yet. That'll hold some of my smaller lists. And here's another one of the little girls holding a stack of books. And here's the list here. This one's Wanda Brunstetter. She's one of my favorites. Her and Karen Kingsbury are my two favorites. I love Amish stories. And then we flip over to the back side. And this is a pocket, or a belly band. And I just stamped out I love books. And then I made 2 little envelopes that I don't have anything in yet. And then the next one, this one I used one of her tags from the collection, and I just layered together. I cut a bunch of greenery out of one of these papers and layered it along the bottom because the tag wasn't long enough to make a pocket. And here's a smaller Beth Wiseman. And then this one is a crisscross pocket, and I put 3 of her tags in it because I don't have any lists made yet for that one. So I just put 3 of her tags in here just so you can see what it looks like filled out. And one of the library, property of the libraries, and this is a tuck spot. And then here's the last little girl, I think. Yes, the last little girl. Another pocket. And then on the back side of that one, I made a little folder using one of the tags from the collection, and it just opens like this, so I can put a list in there, and then I can also put a list behind it because it works as a belly band. So there's that, and then here's your back cover. It's a repeat of the front with another tuck spot here, one here, and on this one I have Beverly Lewis in there. Isn't that cute? I just love these. I thought they were so cute. So that is my project. I thought it turned out so cute. I just love it. I'll be excited to have all my lists in one place. So that's my project for the design team. I hope you enjoy it. I love to hear your comments and see what you think. If you're an avid reader, you may want to make one yourself. So thanks for watching. Have a great day, and stay tuned for the tutorial. Bye. Okay, for this project I am working with the exclusive collection from Country Craft Creations called Once Upon a Book. This is so pretty, and many of you know that I'm an avid reader. I've mentioned that several times. And here's a couple of the sheets out of that paper collection. Isn't that pretty? The colors are just gorgeous. I've already cut into this one. And the back side of many of the sheets look like ledgers and different documentations. They're just so pretty. So I am using the dark gray Artisan cardstock like this. And here is my album cover. I have done the lay flat method that was designed by Tammy Merrill a few years ago. And this is so easy. Many of you already know how to wrap it. If this is the first time for you, I do have a tutorial on that, and I'll put a link in the description box. But I have just done the wrap, and you can see how it lays flat. And I have added 5-page hinge, and this is the hidden hinge, and it is stiff. I prefer the stack the deck, but I couldn't get 6 pages in here. I had to go with the hidden hinge, and it would only hold 5, so I can only add my 5 favorite authors on these pages, but then I can build these up and add some more of my favorite authors in there. But I read part of every day. Always read at nighttime when I go to bed. So in your cut list, you will find that you have 5 base pages that are 6 by 7. So it is 6 this way, 7 this way, so there's 7 tall and 6 side to side. And then I have built one page just to show you what the game plan is. And it's a pocket page like this that will sit over the hinge. And I have fussy cut designs from the pages, and these will be my pockets. So that's the game plan. Now what I have done is taken, this is one of the cut aparts, and I've just collaged a bunch of smaller pieces here to make it fit the height, because this stopped about here. And I just cut a piece of scrap, and with the pages being 7, I cut this piece at 8, scored it 1/2 inch on the top and the bottom so that it will make a pocket page like this. And that'll be page number 2, or whatever order. I don't know what order I'm going to put them in, but that'll be a second page. Then here's another one I've done, and I cut one of the little girls out. So we'll burnish this under where I scored it at 1/2. And then we'll add glue to the top and the bottom. Oops. And the bottom. And I always angle them so I don't have any overhang on the corners. Or just taper the edges, like right here and here. And then we'll attach it and line it up on the edge here. And I will clamp it down. And we'll attach it at the bottom. Clamp it down. Let that sit just a few minutes. We'll go ahead and glue this one while we got the glue open. And then I'll show you the other two. Come on, glue, don't fail me now. It's about time for me to order some more of this glue from Tammy. I like to order the big 16-ounce bottle and then just refill this as I need. Okay. Match this up. Get another clamp out here. I like these little clamps because they don't have teeth that mark up your page. I've tried so many different ones, and so many of them make little indentions on your page. So there's those. So that'll be 3 pages. Now here's one, and I've inked each of them in, what did I use? Weathered wood. I just lightly inked around the design paper. And that will be one, and I'll just trim around the edge here, and then I can glue it to a base page. And then here's the last one, and I'll do the same thing with that, trim it around. Have to ink it yet though, I haven't inked her. So that is the game plan for the 5 pages. Now after I get these glued in, get my pages laid out, then I'll come back and we'll start working on the inside of the covers here and here. Before I put the pages in, I want to do these while they're laying flat. It's just easier to work with them. So that's the plan. I will be back shortly. Alright, I am ready for the inside covers, front and back. So the first piece I'm going to add is going to be right here, and it measures 7 3/8 by 4 1/2. And I am going to taper these edges just a hair. It's a little bit shorter than the cover to start with, but just to be safe, I like to taper them. So let me turn this around where I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to use the art glitter glue, of course. Oops. And I am going to make it just shy of the top and bottom and close to the edge. Just inside that edge there. And then we will burnish that down. And I am going to have a magnet in here, I believe, in the front and the back, but that should be the only place. And you know what? Let me pull that back up before it sticks down top, because I think I'm trying to decide. I'm thinking about my ribbons. I don't know if I want to use a ribbon. See, I hadn't thought about that yet. And you know, that's okay. The ribbons will go on the outside of the cover. So let me glue it again. Better safe than sorry. I hadn't decided for sure if I wanted the ribbons on the inside or the outside, but now that I've thought it over, they're going to go on the outside. So let's go back with this again where it was. No damage done, that's for sure. And then our second piece is 4.5 by 4.5. Now this is scored at 1/2. I forgot to say, I think. And then we have 4.5 by 4.5 also scored at 1/2. And it is going to go on the opposite side. And we don't have to miter this one since it's so much shorter. And I'm just going to kind of ballpark it in the center and just shy of the hinge, or the score line here in the middle. Just like that. Burnish it down. Now here's my game plan. I'm going to put this down in here. And that fits fine. And then I'm going to have this on the outside of here. And I want to pick up some color because it's just all pink, pink, pink. So I pulled out this green from the My Colors. And we can put a magnet in there. And then this will hold our pages down. And there's 3 of these on your, 3 of these ovals on one of your cut aparts. I cut all 3 of them out with a scallop die. And the third one I cut in half so that I could put it on the back side where this hangs over. So when you flip it up, you see this and not just the gray. So the magnet will be under there. And then I've cut a strip to put along here as a little tuck spot, and a green one to go over here as another tuck spot. And that'll bring all the colors together. And then I'll reverse the process for the other side. So let me glue this down. at the top and the bottom. And I don't have it cut yet. I want it away from the edge just a little bit. So let me put some glue down here. There we go. And then I can cut this off. And that will go here. And then this one, put some glue here and here to anchor that down. Got to go a little bit far. Just like that. It's not quite straight. Go. And then we'll snip this off. And that will go here. I think that'll tie it all together. And there's so many cut aparts and stuff with this collection that I can tuck little things up under this. Yeah, I think that looks fine. Okay. I just have to decide magnet placements for those. So let's get the other two out. I'll burnish this one. And what did I do with my, did I bury it somewhere? There it is. I knew it had to be here somewhere. So we will put that one over here after I taper it. Just like that. Okay. And then we've got this one. So does it look down? Go up a little bit. Oops. There we go. That ought to be good right there. Trying to keep it fairly even with the other side. Okay, and then we've got this to go under here. I'll need to trim that one just a little bit. Let me take a snip off of it. It's just a little too wide. Yep, that's better. That'll go that way. And we've got this piece again. needs to be glued here. Our little tuck spot. There. And then we've got this one. And it needs to go off, and that will go here. So that will be our covers. But before I glue these down, I just need to decide on magnet placements. So let me get my magnets out real quick like. Should have already had them out, but I didn't. Here they are. Okay. I want to put I think I want the magnet. Let's see how this is going to go right there. So come on, these things are so hard for me to get off. Okay, so right about yonder. That gives me enough room to cover my magnet. That was a negative, so let me get a positive. And it's going to turn around the other way. Wouldn't you know it? But if I put it underneath, it won't. So let's put it there, in here. There we go. Now I'll be able to glue my papers down. And I can glue this down. First though, I need to put this on the back side. It's going to be on this side. And this will go on the top. These flowers are so pretty. Now we can glue this down. Now on the back side of each of these flaps, I'll put some type of a tuck spot or a pocket or something because of my list. I'm constantly adding new books to my collection because a lot of the authors that I read, they're constantly adding to their series. So I don't want to glue my list down because I want to be able to add to it. So there's that. Now this can be attached. is a decorative piece, and I want to make sure that is covered. So I will put that right like that. And that'll be that. Whoops. I lifted too soon. Let me put a piece of tape over that to secure it. Well, where's my 1/2 inch? Right there. And where you at? There it is. Okay, I'm going to put a piece of tape over it and that won't happen again. Okay, now we can glue this down. And this one. Now on this back side, I'll either put a stacked pocket or use a die that I have in my stash that has 3 or 4 pockets in it. But I haven't decided which one I want to use yet. I've got plenty of time for that. Okay, and this one's going to go right here. Perfect. Perfecto, perfecto. Okay. So there's that. Pretty, isn't it? I like those colors. Really pretty. So I will do the same thing on this side, and then on this last page, which here's what I've decided to do, and I'll show you, because I want this to relate to this color-wise. With this pen. So what I decided to do was add the rose paper to it. Get this out of the way. I'm not going to glue it in until I get all these glued down, but I can put this on it, and I've already inked it with the weathered wood. Try not to get my head in the camera, but I'm bad about doing that. Okay, there's that. And I haven't glued this in yet because I haven't inked it, so let me do that real quick. Okay, this doesn't have to be inked because it's not going to show. So, there we go. We're going to slide this one in under the little girl and get my edge like I want it. Whoops. That isn't right yet. quite that much. I gotta jockey it around. Ah, there we go. Now we're in place. Okay, and this will be the end that goes on the hinge. And that's not glued down, and I don't put glue on that when I slide it through because it makes it catch when I'm sliding. So then I'll come back to this side and add some glue so that background paper is glued down all the way across. Then that's going to sit on here. When you flip it up, you have this facing this, and I just made a little booklet. This is one of the cut aparts, the tags, and I just made a little booklet, and I can put lists in here or just however I want to do it, but I'm going to make this a belly band, so I'm just going to glue it at the top and the bottom, and I need a piece of I'm thinking baker's twine maybe to put behind it so I can tie it shut. I don't want another magnet because it will interfere with the other magnet. I have this, which I don't like for that. I've just got some plain white. I'll use that. Some plain white baker's twine. I have some pink, but it's kind of a weird color of pink. It's more of a coral. I don't think it would work with it. Nah, it's too orangey. Let's see what this one looks like. Here's another one. No, it's even more orange. We don't want that one either. Okay, we'll stick with white. So, I want to glue this to the back. Actually, I'll just put a piece of score tape on it to hold it. And I want it to be in the middle, and this is how tall? I think it's a little over 6. It's about 6. So we'll put the string at 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's about right there. So we'll put it right there. Looks long enough to me. Okay. And it can stay like that. Nothing will get caught. And we'll just glue it at the top and the bottom. And then we'll be able to tie it shut. And that way it'll be like a belly band. I can put a list under it and list inside of it. Cool. I think I left more on one side than I did on the other. I'm not going to tie it yet. I'll just leave it like that because we're not going to add it to the book yet. So I will glue this all down off screen, and then I will be back and we'll work on the back side of the rest of the pages. The back side's like this. Got 4 more to go, so we'll work on those. Okay, I'll be back shortly. Okay guys, we're getting down to the wire. This is the last page, so let me put this underneath, and we'll get all of these back sides put together so we can put our pages in the book. I did put my paper on the cover, and I'll show you what I did. I attached the ribbon with some score tape first, and just center of from top to bottom. And then I chose the paper with the 3 girls in their books. I just thought they were gorgeous. So I cut them out at the very beginning and laid them aside so I wouldn't use them. And there is your spine. And the back, I just used the book page with the chairs, the roses, and what have you. So that is going to be that. Let me get this out of the way. So here is page 1, and there's your pocket. So I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to put a stack pocket on the back, and I'll embellish it later. But these are, I guess I better get this completely off the table here. These are 7 3/4 by 3, and I think this one is 2. Yes, it's 2. So I have scored on 3 sides, and this one I just scored on 2 sides. So we'll burnish these, and this is just your basic stack pocket. And like I said, I'll go back and embellish them later. I can do that off camera, you guys have. And I'll show you some of the embellishments I'm going to use. I do have some things I'm going to pull from my stash, just because I've got stamps I hardly ever use, and I need to use them. And I do have one set that my sister sent me that's all about books. It was either for birthday or Christmas. She always sends me crafting stuff every year. So we'll burnish these 3. And then we'll glue these in place. And I always like to make sure that these don't overlap so I don't have extra bulk in there. And I'm going to put this down at the very bottom so that fits perfectly. Thank goodness for that. I love it when it all comes together right, because believe me, it doesn't always. Every now and then I have a little mishap where I either cut wrong or score wrong or whatever. I'm just like anybody else. I goof up sometimes. Just proves I'm human. But after all, it is handmade, so a little mess up's not that big of a deal. Most often we can correct them without much problems. So there's that. Let's scoot this down just a hair. Okay. And then this one, if I cut it right, should set right inside that one. Yep, just like that. So we're just going to glue these down. Slide it down just below that notch. Actually, let me taper these. It'll make it easier. Just the bottom ones. Well, I'll take a hair off. Whoops. Hair off the top too. That flipped across the counter. There we go. There we go, that's better. Make sure that's even. 3/4. 1 3/4. 1 3/4, perfect. Okie dokie. Burnish that down. So there's page 1. That's how it's going to go in the book. Then, see, I like the colors to work together. So when you see the back of page 1, there's the front of page 2. So we flip that over, and here's the way this one will look. Whoops. This one has the little girl with the blue dress. So I cut this out and I used, where's that die? I was going to show you the die I used. Oh, here it is. I used this die. It's a stitch slot pocket set. And if you don't have this, I know a lot of people do. I've seen a lot of people use it. But if you don't have this, then just do another stack pocket. And that will be fine. So this one just cuts it out, and it also gives you a die for these 3 pieces. And all you have to do on this one is burnish it and glue it down. Super easy. The only thing I don't like about this is see, it leaves you more room on this side, more of an edge than it does over here. So I'm going to try to push it a little farther over so it matches better, because I like there to be the same amount on both sides, or at least closer than what it is. So that goes there, and then we'll burnish the bottom. That's better, a little bit better. And we'll burnish the bottom. I didn't get this bottom part over far enough. I'm going to pull it over a little bit more. Well, it's better, but it's not perfect, but it'll be okay. This one I'm keeping for myself, so I won't be as finicky, but if it was going to somebody, I'd have to rescore it all together. A lot of times I give things away. Sometimes I sell them, but I've given away a lot more than I've ever sold. But I don't really often try to sell them. Okay. And this is going to sit just like that. Make sure it's even at the bottom. Okay, that looks good. It's down good. Need some glue right here on this edge of this paper. Looks like I misglued a couple places. Okay, so there's back up 1 or 2. And here's this girl. When we turn her over, it is green. So I have a little belly band for this one. And I didn't ink these, so let me ink these real quick. Weathered wood. Just lightly. Maybe I better use the smooth side so it adheres good. these little envelopes. Now these envelopes, I use the mini punch board, mini envelope board, and these are 3x3 squares, and your first punch and score is at 1 3/4. And then if you've made envelopes, you know once you make the first punch and score, then you just turn it around and you follow these lines. I'm sure there's plenty of tutorials online showing you how to use the punch board if it's your first time. If you haven't made one, just Google "We Are Memory Keepers." I'm sure they have a good tutorial, because that's who made it. So let's fold these up and burnish them. And we'll ink these little edges. There's that. Now I've got to score this. Add a 1/2 inch on each end. Let me scoop this down. And we need a 1/2. And I like to turn it over and score on both sides. I never really have any trouble with cracking with what I get from Country Craft Creations, but just to be safe, and it gives you a nice edge anyway. There you go. Scoot this back into place. Alrighty. I should have had that done beforehand, but I didn't. Shame on me. Okay, let's snip the edges of these. And run a little ink along this top edge. I didn't do a dry fit on this. I hope it's going to fit. Yay. Okay, that's going to go right down the middle. Okay. Now, for the envelopes, here's the thing. I'm going to put a little dot of glue here and here. Don't want a lot of glue on them. And I thought I'd put one at an angle like this and one at an angle like that. I actually could have got 3, but I didn't want it to be too busy. And I think I will make a little paper clip or some type of a embellishment to hold them closed. There's that. I probably could have cut this off a little bit. because that goes pretty high. This one's not near as high as the other one. Don't have a clue what I did differently. Let's ink that a little bit. Okay. So let's put some glue on the back side. Like that. Just down the center. Alright. I'll make some little paper clips to hold these down. I think those would be cute. So that one goes here, and when we flip this over, we've got blue again. And that takes us to our last page, which we already did, if you remember. It's got that on it. So all I've done here is I cut a rectangle that was, actually it was 6.5, but I've cut some of it off. As it is now, it is 6 by 5 7/8. And I scored all 4 sides. Actually, it looks like this. And I cut it corner to corner. And then after I got it corner to corner, it was actually too big. So what I did was I cut it down. So once you have it folded under, let me give you the measurements. Once these are folded under, that'll be easier for you to replicate. 5 3/8 by 3.5. And all I did was cut off the top and the corner so that when I glue it down, it just makes a crisscross pocket like this. And this one will go over the top. And that will be that. So we're going to glue down the tabs. Actually, let me burnish it again because those aren't really flat. They're kind of springing up in the air. And that one's overlapping. So I'm going to have to trim that one right here. And I do want to trim this top edge. I already did that one. Okie dokie. We're ready to glue them down now. Let's see a little dimple here. There we go. No, I didn't get it all. There. I felt it that time. It's just a little nub. Okay. This one. Yeah, good. I wasn't sure. I'll glue this one down. eyeball. Alright, that's better. I like that better. Okay, so there's that double pocket, and this one, and then that faces the back cover. Alright, so I am going to attach these to the book. We'll put one in together. Let me get a drink real quick, my throat's getting so dry. Oh, and excuse me. I want, goodness, wanted to show you, these are some of the stamps that I have in my stash, and I'm going to color those in with my Copics. And then I had this one that came in a kit my sister sent me, and it's a stack of books with an owl on it, so I'll use those. And then so far I've cut out a bunch of the things that came with the kit. This library card, this stack of books, there's another one. This one, I cut this one out of one of those. And there's two real tiny little books. And this one. And this one is property of the National Library. Isn't that cute? And these are the property things too. And here's another one of those. This one's a public library seal, a library card, and then these two little chairs. So I'll use those in there too. So I've got plenty of things to embellish it with. So let's put one in the books just so you can see. Whoops. And I like to start in the back of the book. And I'll embellish them off screen after I get them put in the book. But here's page number 5, and it's going to sit right over this hinge. So we will put glue on both sides of the hinge. See, the reason I like Stack the Deck better, because these hinges are so stiff, and it takes a good while for them to limber up. You have to work them back and forth and back and forth. And I just don't like how stiff they are. But this one here is more like a Stack the Deck because it's a single thickness, so I don't know, I like it better. But I wanted to get 6 pages, and my spine wasn't big enough for 6 pages, so I couldn't do Stack the Deck. Glue on both sides of the hinge. Oops. To the edge there. Okay, then open up your pocket and just set it down over it. Get it placed where you want it from top to bottom. And I pull it up just a hair so it's not laying right on the score, and press it into place. A little glue showing there, and it looks pretty good from top to bottom. And then we'll go through and we'll do the same thing with all the rest of the pages. Alright, that takes care of the tutorial. I will be back with the walkthrough of the finished project, and we'll do that. Alright, thanks for watching.